Hi, welcome to the second edition of the River Roads and Trails Report. Today is Friday, June 1st, 2018, and we're coming to you from West Glacier where it's currently raining with that River Roads and Trails Report that we know you've all been waiting for. Let's start with the rivers. It's raining, but the rivers are dropping, and we're starting to see more and more river traffic out there on the Three Forks of the Wild and Scenic Flathead River. Just because they're dropping doesn't mean you don't need to wear those PFDs at all times, and wetsuits too, because that water temperature is at about 44 degrees. There is a lot of wood in the river, a lot of logs. Be on the lookout for log jams, for strainers. If you're not with a guide, go with someone who could be one this time of year for sure. The Middle Fork itself, we're running scenic floats and whitewater trips. Most of the whitewater section is running at a steady class 3, with the exception of Jaws, which is at about a class 4. It's running at 13,300 CFS today and 7.3 feet. For comparison, the median flows this time of year are typically about 11,000. You can see some people heading out to do the whitewater section right now that just went out behind me. Moving on to the North Fork, our guides are reporting that over the last few years, a new channel has begun to form at about mile marker 27 on the North Fork of the Flathead, and that would be the mile marker 27 as indicated on that Forest Service Three Forks river map, which we do have available in our office if you need a copy of that. As of yesterday, that channel was clear, but do expect and be prepared for lots of strainers in that section, lots of wood, lots of logs. The border above Pole Ridge, the Canadian border to about mile marker 20 is, for us, appearing to be the most hazardous section of the North Fork right now, and that's about 3 miles below Coal Creek. Talking about flows and whatnot, the North Fork is running at 12,100 CFS today at about 6.5 feet, and the median flow is 12,000 for comparison. So last week when we were giving the River Roads and Trails report, we were reporting almost double than average flows, and now this week we're starting to get back more into that normal range. So rivers are definitely dropping, but that runoff I do think will go on for a while. It's going to be a great month to do rafting on the Flathead River. Moving on to the roads, it is definitely the secret season, as folks are starting to call Glacier National Park's biking season. We've taken out bike trips almost every day this week, and there's a wonderful about 45-minute long video of a biking trip that we took earlier this week on Visit Montana's Facebook page. We'll be posting that on ours later today as well. But just gorgeous. The hiker-biker closure is at the Packers Roost, but after 4 o'clock and on the weekends or whenever the plow drivers have turned the sign from closed back around. On the Sun Road, you can go as far as your legs will take you, and because the plows are almost to Logan Pass, you can go quite a ways into that iconic alpine section. And of course, the waterfalls are just gorgeous right now, and the wildflowers are starting to come up, and to be on the Going to the Sun Road without cars is a pretty special experience. So if you need a bike or a guide or both, give us a ring. Be happy to set you up with that fun trip this time of year. We will be biking on the Going to the Sun Road until it opens to vehicle traffic. So I'm swatting at a few mosquitoes. They're definitely out in force this time of year. So pack your bug spray for whatever adventure you're heading on in Glacier National Park. Staying with the road, on the east side of the Going to the Sun Road, it is open now to the Jackson Glacier overlook, so that's a pretty good ways past rising sun. You can get some gorgeous views of St. Mary Lake in that area. There is no hiker-biker access past Jackson Glacier overlook, so please be respectful of that closure. Talking about other roads in the park, the inside North Fork Road, it has been closed for quite a while now at the Logging Creek Ranger Station and Fish Creek for various reasons. But the fun part of it being closed is if you find the Going to the Sun Road too crowded for your biking preferences and you have a mountain bike, the inside North Fork Road is really a fun place to get out with your family and friends and ride. We've had reports from lots of people that found that to be a good option over Memorial Day weekend. There were so many bikers and hikers at the Avalanche Trailhead on the Going to the Sun Road that the road actually did close at Lake McDonald for a few hours, and access to Avalanche was by shuttle only because we were out of parking spaces. So keep that inside North Fork Road in mind. Other roads, the Camas Road is open, although that's also an awesome bicycle choice. It's not particularly busy this time of the year, and especially if you have a road bike, the Camas Road is a wonderful biking option. Chief Mountain Road is open. Don't forget your passport. The Cut Bank Road is currently closed still due to the weather on the east side. Mini Glacier Road is open, and the Two Medicine Road is open as well. So, friendly reminder that dogs are not permitted on roads in Glacier National Park past those vehicle closures. A few more biking notes. That spring hiker-biker shuttle that I was just referring to will continue to run on the weekends from 9 to 5 until the Going to the Sun Road is fully open to vehicle traffic. It does depart from the Apgar Visitor Center on the west side and drops off at both Lake McDonald Lodge and the Avalanche Creek Trailhead. So moving on to the trails, everybody wants to know what's going on with the trails. How quickly is that snow melting? Well, there's still a whole lot of snow, but let's start with our backyard, the Lake McDonald area here just outside of West Glacier. We can report that the last quarter mile of the trail from Trout to Arrow Lake is totally impassable. There was a massive tree avalanche, and so that travel on that trail is not recommended until that's cleared. There is construction that is closing various parts of the Trail of Cedars, but I was on it just 2 nights ago with my little boy, and it's mostly open and really a peaceful, lovely experience this time of the year. The Trail to Avalanche is open, and we're guiding hikes to that area this week. It's beautiful. It's a much quieter time of the year to experience that lovely area. The friendly reminder, in that same area that Sperry's Chalet and the area immediately surrounding the chalet is currently closed due to construction and hazardous conditions. And that's the Lake McDonald area report. Moving over to the northeast corner of the park, the Belly River area, all the major suspension bridges are in, the Park Service is reporting. There is some flooding around the Bear Mountain overlook, but the trail is mostly clear, and the cable is not yet installed for the crossing between Cosley and Elizabeth Lakes, so please use extreme caution if you're attempting that crossing. We are headed out on our first backpacking trip of the season tomorrow, and we're going to the Belly River area. So we'll be reporting back to you next week with some pictures and videos about what it's like in Belly River in the early season. Moving down to the mini glacier area of the park, always a favorite. Friends have reported to us that the trail to Iceberg Lake does have multiple water crossings on the lower sections, and it is snow covered on the upper sections. The Park Service is reporting that the water volume and flow rate at Ptarmigan Falls is, quote, substantial, as high as it ever gets, end quote. So please be very careful around all bodies of water in Glacier. Drowning is unfortunately our #1 cause of death in Glacier National Park, so let's use extra caution in this runoff season that we're in right now. Back to Iceberg, on the upper sections of the trail, there are several very hazardous snow bridges, but with sturdy hiking boots, trekking poles, and safety-focused route finding, you can get to the lake. We do urge you to use extreme caution on those snow bridges, though. Falling through a snow bridge is not a good idea. Iceberg Lake itself is completely covered in ice as of last weekend. Moving over in the valley to the Swift Current Pass Trail, it is clear of trees, and it's 99% clear of snow all the way to Red Rock Falls. That's a great little hike to take with small children if you're in that area. The suspension bridge is not yet in, so you can't get too far up that valley at the moment. Moving over to Grinnell Glacier, there are snow hazards beginning about 3 miles from the trailhead, and of course that trail does not typically open to its full length to the glacier until mid-July, so there's really just a few miles of it that are open in the Lake Josephine area. Moving down to St. Mary's, still on the east side of the park, the Beaver Lakes Loop, which is always a favorite of mine in the shoulder seasons. It is clear, there's no snow, it's very muddy. This is a great time to practice your leave no trace skills. You walk right through those mud puddles with your good hiking boots or hiking shoes and keep damage to that trail as minimal as possible in this wet season. Moving over to St. Mary Falls, all of the trails leading to St. Mary Falls are posted for bear frequenting, and the St. Mary's Falls Bridge is going to be under construction through June 8th, so next weekend. The bridge is going to be closed this week for that construction. The bridge at Bering Falls is also under construction, and it does have an estimated completion time of June 6th, so we'll keep you posted on that. Over at Otokomi Lake, the trail is clear of snow. This is right behind the Rising Sun area. The trail is clear of snow for the first 4 miles, and the final 1.5 miles has about 50% snow coverage, becoming 100% snow at the lake. The lake is still mostly frozen, and the campground is under snow. From what we're hearing from the Park Service and just from friends in and around the area, most of the campgrounds, backcountry campgrounds in the park, are still snow covered. So unless you have special backcountry winter camping skills, you're probably not going to be going to any of those places. Moving to Two Medicine, always a very popular area of the park to go hiking. The Scenic Point Trail is almost completely dry and clear of snow on those lower sections of it. There is a snow hazard just before the point itself, although it's melting quickly. You will need to hike above the snow to avoid the risk of that snowfield. But otherwise, Scenic Point is a great option this time of the year. On the Highway 2 corridor at Walton, the Scalp Lock Lookout Trail is completely snow covered for the last 2 miles before reaching the lookout, so that's at around 6,000 feet. And the Park Service is recommending trekking poles and crampons if you're attempting to go up to that lookout. In the North Fork area of the park, looking at the Quartz Lakes Loop, there are a lot of trees down and travel is not recommended on that trail at the moment. Just in general in the Bowman Lake area, the Park Service is reporting that there are hundreds of trees down, so it sounds like they have a lot of work to do before those trails are open. The road to Bowman, though, is open, so I know people are recreating, especially with their kayaks and small watercraft out there. Don't forget, you do need to get an inspection at APGAR if you're taking your watercraft out. In general, this time of year, you can expect lower elevation trails to be very muddy and to give you good opportunity to practice your leave no trace skills. And then the higher elevations, the trails are still mostly snow covered. There are some new campgrounds that are open within the park if you're looking to recreate this weekend. Cut Bank and Kentla are both in primitive status. Cut Bank is always in primitive status, but Kentla is as well right now. And APGAR, St. Mary, Mini Glacier, Fish Creek, and Bowman Lake are all open. So get your stuff together and head on out, because the forecast is looking really nice this weekend on both sides of the Continental Divide. Here in West Glacier, although it's raining right now, we are expecting the system to clear out tonight. And Saturday and Sunday look mostly sunny with highs of 70 tomorrow and 78 on Sunday. Lows will be in the upper 30s and lower 40s though, so bring that nice warm sleeping bag if you're camping out. There's a very similar forecast for St. Mary on the east side. It's raining over there right now, but again, the weather is expected to clear for a beautiful weekend. Low of 38 tonight in St. Mary with a high of 63 forecasted for Saturday and 71 for Sunday. Oh, I got to do my weather girl thing again this week. So thank you so much for tuning in to the Rivers, Roads, and Trails Report. We do email this out to people who ask to be on this list, and if you would like to be on that list, all you need to do is email me, Courtney@glacierguides.com, and I'll be happy to add you to the list. So thanks again for listening. Have fun out there and be safe.